Really? You're gonna make me do this now. Why me? I'm sure most people who have been on the internet have heard that for the last couple weeks, Kanye West has said some rather interesting things. And I don't get why he is getting as much hateful rhetoric, specifically, as he is getting for it. I understand it's because big, powerful, influential black man is saying things that kind of go against the expected norm, but this is absurd on a level that I did not think we would experience. Here we are. And I have had to defend Kanye West from accusations and from the things that are said of him or the interpretations that other people are making about what he says, which hurts me on a level I cannot begin to describe. I hate Kanye West. I really do. The man's ego is bigger than the fucking planet. I've hated him since his song Stronger, where he basically took credit for the beat and the music, which was from Daft Punk, their song Harder, Better, Faster. That song has been attributed to him more than it's been attributed to the original creators, Daft Punk. I cannot tell you how many people I have heard over the years say, whenever they hear the Daft Punk original version, oh hey, when did they do the cover of a Kanye song? I want to hurt people. There's a lot of other reasons I don't like Kanye. Let's just start from there. So I have to defend someone that I particularly don't like because people have gone batshit insane. This started when Kanye started tweeting out pro-Trump tweets like, oh yeah, we besties and we dragon energy, yo. I love that. I love that that's become a meme. Uh, a signed MAGA hat, all this kind of shit. And people lost their fucking minds. Oh, Kanye has gone conservative. Kanye has gone rogue. KK Kanye. Every horrible racist thing that people on the left could think of, they threw at him. So many Uncle Toms, so many racists, so many KK Kanyes. I can go on. Which, from a cosmic sense, I found funny because by the hardcore left's own definition, black people cannot be racist because of the whole, well, racism is power plus privilege bullshit. And they've actually gone to say that the richest black person still has less privilege in society than the poorest white person. So no matter how good the black people are, they will never be as good as the white people. So they can never be racist. I've had people say that straight to my face. So I love seeing this from the sense of this completely destroys that narrative. It's hilarious. They'll never understand it. You point this out to them, like, every horrible thing you can think of, just from saying that he was okay with Trump, that he didn't despise Trump. It's amazing how quick that the extreme left is to turn on someone. And yes, the same can be said of the extreme right. I'm not arguing that point. The point here is that the left has, over the last several years, painted themselves as the party of the minorities, the party of equality, the party of social justice, the party of all of these feel-good things, that they can't stand the icky poo-poo bad racist things. Bad words hurt, yo. And yet here they go doing the exact thing that they accuse the right of. And yet they still have the gall to be on their moral high horse and say that they are the better people. That's the point that I make here every time I brought this up. Not that I am right-wing. I'm a fucking centrist. I love watching the left and the right go at it because it's hilarious watching extremes blow each other up. Not literally. Fuck you, YouTube. I know that this is going to get hidden because of that. I love watching the insanity ensue from both sides going after each other. While I'm just sitting here, come join the middle. We have milk and cookies. We have punch and pie. You like punch and pie? And that's, to me, what a lot of what Kanye says sounds like. It sounds like a man who has broken from the expected mold of one party, and he's trying to find himself, and he's relatively center right now as he does some soul searching, some cosmic searching, whatever you want to call it. And why that is so bad, I don't know. I think because this guy is so well known. He's so influential. He's so big. I mean, hell, he had other music artists direct message him on Twitter saying, you can't do this. You're too influential. Think of the children that you might stray from the left. Yes, because damn, free thought. That's harsh, yo. We gotta keep our numbers up. And just the way that people are taking everything he says, either as the absolute worst, or they are quite literally taking it out of context. Before he even said the thing that is being circulated very heavily right now, he was pulled from at least one radio station, one big one in Detroit, because if any place can afford to lose money, it's Detroit. They pulled him from their song library basically because he didn't say Trump was the devil. That's it. This was before he said the thing that is going around everywhere now. Then, after he said the thing that is being circulated ad nauseum, then a lot of other stations pulled him. The thing that he said that got a lot of people in a tizzy, that they've only taken the little soundbite of, that they've ignored all context for, that they've scrubbed all context of, that I had to watch the full interview for to get, and to see that what he says is very different from what they have taken from that 5-second clip. What he said in that 5-second clip was 400 years of slavery sounds like a choice. And then he goes on to explain how it's the whole mental slavery, that we are being conditioned to still think of ourselves as slaves and as lesser and all that kind of shit. And I wanted to be absolutely sure that I even understood that right. So I went back into some history books to double check dates. Now, there are two different kinds of slave trades that are very big in regards to black people. There is the Atlantic slave trade and the Triangle slave trade. The Atlantic one started about 1500, the beginning of it, ended about the end of the Civil War, about 1865, 1870, in that general ballpark. That was nearly 400 years there. The issue with that one is that it was predominantly South America. I'm talking like 80-90% South America. So I don't think that's the one that is being referenced whenever the term 400 years of slavery is thrown about. Because if it was, that would be for people that are in South America, not North America. The other one, the one that we here in America know very well, is the Triangle trade. That started about 1610, 1620, around the time of the Mayflower, and it went on to the end of the Civil War. About 1870 is when the last one cropped up. It died the same time the Atlantic slave trade died. But that doesn't make sense because that's about 250, 300 years if you're being generous. Well, hang on here because it makes sense if you think about it in context of when it started, 1620, to today. That makes it 400 years. That is the one that I have come to figure must be what it is for people who are in North America. Because if you are talking 400 years of slavery and you're in South America, yeah, that makes perfect sense for the Atlantic trade. For North America, it can only be the triangle trade, which must mean that you are equating today with slavery. And yes, I know Jim Crow and segregation and all that, post-slavery, I'm not discounting that. That was a horrible, horrible thing. I will absolutely say that every single time. However, if Jim Crow and segregation are counted in slavery, then I, as a man of Irish ancestry, must ask, where's my Guinness and potato from all of you people? Because wouldn't I then be up for reparations? I, as a pasty-faced white boy? Because I am Irish. I am descended from people who were treated just as badly as black people during the Jim Crow era. Look it up. I am not exaggerating. The Irish were the white black people. We were lumped in with black people during that era. That's not me exaggerating. That's not me making shit up. That is history. And that was in the past. That was shit when it happened. We don't do that anymore. Same with how Jim Crow ended 50 years ago. The majority of people alive today have not lived under Jim Crow. They have heard stories about it, but they've never experienced it. Same with segregation. Segregation in schools predominantly ended about the 1980s. So there's an entire generation right now, my generation, that has never known segregation, that's never known Jim Crow, that's never known any of these things. We've heard talk about it, but we've never experienced it. And that is the majority right now, particularly the ones that say that they live under slavery, that they live under Jim Crow, that they've experienced all these horrible atrocities. I see so many people under 50, under 30 say these things, and it makes me question, how the fuck can you say that with a straight face? You can say, I know of it, but you can't say you've ever experienced it. Otherwise, I experienced working on the railroad all the doo-dah-day. It doesn't work like that. Yes, what people did in the past was absolutely horrid. I will not disagree with that. That is the past, not the present. We live in an age where we, as a country, elected a two-term black man. If that doesn't show that we are in an age where anyone can be anything, I don't know what does. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. I am saying that we are no longer held by the idea that only people of a certain color or certain genitals can be certain things. We have moved beyond that, and we generally, not completely, but generally, are all just one people. We don't, or at least I don't, and I would like to think the majority of people don't, give a shit about skin color, genitals, anything. We just look at people as people. We judge you based on who you are, how you act, what you do, not what you are. maybe I'm giving a little bit too much credit to some people, but I would like to believe that people in general are like that. Especially with the idea that people are still living under slavery. That is absolutely absurd. And I don't get that. And for businesses like radio stations to then punish someone by taking off their music rotation for saying something not as long-winded as that, but roughly that idea, that is absolutely absurd to me. And to bring this back around to where we started, yes, this is fucking Kanye West I'm defending. I don't like it any more than you do. But that doesn't make it justified that it's such a big name as Kanye. What if it was a smaller artist who was just starting out and they took his new hit song off of every radio station because he said something that could be construed as conservative? What if it's just some random schmuck who works a job and someone interprets something he said as conservative, so his job fires him? Not because he said it at work, not because he said it with anything that's attached to work, but because he said it and then someone found it and they complained to his boss that he said it and then it hurt their feelings. So the boss had to fire him. Otherwise, I look like I'm insensitive. I have to fire this person because someone's feelings were hurt. Where does it end? Because when it starts, that's when it can snowball down into easier and easier justifications for it. That's why I think long term, and I try to stop this at the head rather than after it's already snowballed to the point where there's no more stopping it. So while I don't like Kanye, and that's an understatement, I will defend him. I will defend what he says from these false allegations. And I will just have my mind blown at all the insanity that is coming out from this. I'm just asking for people to think rationally, to be calm, to be level-headed, and to look at things from a different perspective. Not to acknowledge it, but to understand where they're and agree with it, but just to understand where they're coming from. That's it. I know I'm asking too much, but I can dream, can't I? This has been Math Machine going on a long tirade that somehow turned into a history lesson in the middle. How do I do this shit? Peace out.